Fallon welcomes Adam Levine, NBC Tonight.
How did you find us?
I ran.
Where's your mom?
Home.
Did your mom ever leave the house?
No, he doesn't let her.
Who's he?
The monster.
Chicago PD, new May 1st on NBC and Peacock.
I'm looking into an organization that's moving heroin.
Product goes through this militia group.
You're my brother. How long have you been involved?
Organized crime, Thursday on NBC and Peacock.
Live from Rhinelander, this is News Watch 12 at 10, the Northwood's best news, with Jessica Jukic, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Weller, and Saul Meyer with sports. News from where you live starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jessica Jukic. A Wisconsin woman convicted of stabbing a classmate nearly 10 years ago appeared in court Wednesday to see if she can be released from a mental institution. She and another girl committed the crime to appease the fictional character Slenderman. Morgan Geiser was 12 years old when she and Anissa Wire stabbed their friend Peyton Leitner. Both were found guilty of attempted homicide by mental disease or defect and sentenced to a mental health facility. Geiser, who is now 21, wants to be granted a conditional release. It's her third attempt. A psychologist testified that she believes Geiser still presents a risk to herself or others. But the defense argued that she's ready to be released since the conditional release would happen slowly. The hearing continues Thursday morning. Wire was previously granted a conditional release. Police have arrested a man believed to have been involved in a shooting on Wausau's east side. Officers responded to a 911 call just before 2:30 a.m. today at a home on the 200 block of North 7th Street. According to the call, the home's resident was shot in the leg during a dispute and suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police were able to identify the alleged shooter as 36-year-old Zach Teskey. Teskey fled the scene and began driving north on Highway 47 into the Rhinelander area. Police were then able to arrest Teskey at a home on Beaver Creek Road east of Rhinelander. The Wausau Police Department is recommending charges of first-degree reckless injury, operating a vehicle without owner consent, and bail jumping. Conrad, it was a beautiful day outside. How's it looking for tomorrow?
I know, finally, 60s and 70s back in the forecast. You excited for the weekend? We're talking even warmer. You know, might as well make some plans, right? Exactly that. Maybe some summer plans, go out by the beach, hang out, get a little bit of a tan that we haven't gotten in a very long time. Check this out. High temperatures earlier today, 67 degrees here in town, near 70 right by Shawano, right down into central Wisconsin. We saw much warmer temperatures. Chicago, it just felt like summer. High temperatures, though, we should be at around 50 degrees this time of year. Average low around 27. Look at that record high. 82 degrees over 40 years ago. Definitely a hot-looking day. We're definitely not going to be in the 80s anytime soon, but Iowa, you're going to be in the 80s by Sunday. For now, though, that push of warmer air will be continuing to work its way all the way up into southern Canada, where they are lacking a lot of snow. I mean, it is April, right? We are starting to melt that away. For now, though, we're going to continue to see these increasing clouds, a couple of sprinkles possible by tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow, a little bit more rain moving on in. Tonight, though, before that rain moves in, temperatures are going to be cooling off, still well above average, hovering at 40 degrees. Jessica?
House conservatives voted against a bill that would reauthorize a surveillance law. This comes after former President Donald Trump pressured House Republicans to kill the bill, claiming that it was illegally used against him to spy on his campaign. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, is a controversial law that allows warrantless surveillance of foreigners, but also lets the FBI collect data from Americans. The bill aimed to reauthorize the law for 5 years with a series of reforms. The final vote was 193 to 228. 19 Republicans voted with Democrats to tank the legislation. It's yet another blow for House Speaker Mike Johnson. He's now under pressure to find a path forward before the April 16th deadline to reauthorize the law. The Biden administration is setting new regulations on the amount of PFAS that can be found in drinking water. This new standard will require water utilities to filter out 5 of the forever chemicals that are currently found in half of the drinking water in the U.S. PFAS has been linked to a number of health issues, including cancer, heart disease, and reproductive problems. The CDC says they're found in the bloodstream of nearly 97% of Americans. They're often used to help products repel water and oil, but linger in the environment and the human body. The Portage County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash that injured 2 people in the town of Amherst. The 2-vehicle crash happened just before 4:30 this morning on County Highway B. Authorities say a tractor-trailer semi-tanker was operated by a 59-year-old Plover man and was traveling westbound on County Highway B. The sheriff's office says a 33-year-old Amherst man driving an SUV was traveling eastbound, crossed the center line, and hit the westbound semi. The crash caused a minor diesel fuel spill from the semi's gas tank. Luckily, the semi-tanker trailer was empty during the crash. Authorities say the semi-driver was taken to a Plover hospital with minor injuries. The SUV driver was flown to Aspirus-Wausau Hospital and remains in critical condition. Many people throughout the country live with different disabilities. A new location has recently opened in Merrill to service people who may need certain resources. Opportunity Development Centers, or ODC, is a nonprofit organization that offers various services for youth and adults with disabilities. ODC programs and services include virtual and mental health services, long-term support, and more.
Like day programming, community integration, employment services, helping people find jobs in the community, and different things like that.
ODC has been in Merrill for over a year and is located at the St. Stephen's Church until a new location was available, which led to the opening of the new building.
Our local funders had reached out and asked if we would be open to kind of expanding to this area and getting something up and running within 30 days, which we said absolutely, 100%.
ODC Merrill currently serves 18 people and is open for referral and employment opportunities. The city of Wausau will be adding more police officers to address the city's homeless population. Wausau Alders voted 9-2 last night to add the 2 additional staff. The officers will be active starting in July and serve through the end of 2025. The issue of addressing homelessness came up after Wausau's police chief sent a letter to the Human Resource Committee saying that officers have to have reduced patrol because of the need to spend time addressing homelessness. Enbridge operates Line 5, an oil and natural gas pipeline stretching from Superior, Wisconsin to Ontario, Canada. This week, the U.S. government broke its silence on the legal battles surrounding the pipeline that is running through a Wisconsin tribal reservation. The U.S. Department of Justice issued a report in support of both the Lake Superior Ojibwe and the Canadian oil giant Enbridge. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says the DOJ sided with the district court that Enbridge is liable for trespassing on the tribe's land. It also said the district court should adjust the restitution and the tribe should receive a larger sum because Enbridge made roughly $1 billion on Line 5 since trespassing. In support of Enbridge, the brief says the band's public nuisance claims should be addressed. Spring marks the start of tornado season, and that means it's time to start thinking about how to be prepared. Chief of Crescent Fire Department Kevin Maynor said during the year, there's on average about 20 tornadoes in Wisconsin. In case of a tornado, Maynor said it's best to get to the basement of a home. He also recommends keeping a safety kit with some vital items like medication.
Just like a little survival kit in your car, I recommend that for your house. So downstairs, I would recommend you have, a little bit of food down there, some snacks. You have a NOAA radio. If you don't have one, you can pick one up through the courthouse, emergency management.
If you do not have a basement, Maynard recommends going to a neighbor's basement or the local fire department for shelter.
You got to practice tornado warnings and drills the same way you do fire drills, fire prevention. Make sure your batteries and all that stuff are, good to go and all that. And everybody in the family knows to head down there and get to your safe space.
He says it's important to be prepared because tornadoes can happen quicker at any time. Mammograms can be vital in catching breast cancer. Coming up, we'll hear some barriers to receiving mammograms after Weather with Conrad right here on Newswatch 12.
Come to Carpet City Flooring Center's biggest sale and receive $300, $600, or even $1,000 of savings on all hard surface flooring products, such as vinyl plank, tile, hardwood, or receive free carpet installation. That's right, savings on all hard surfaces up to $1,000 or free carpet installation. See why contractors and designers only choose Carpet City Flooring Center for their flooring needs at the biggest sale.
Our prices will floor you.
Attention homeowners, Mad City Baths is looking for 50 homeowners who need a new bath or shower. We want to evaluate our custom bathing solutions in real homes for safety and convenience. Mad City is Wisconsin's trusted bathroom remodeler with installations in as little as 1 day. We're also your local provider for replacement windows and kitchen cabinet refacing. And now be one of 50 homeowners who call and receive free installation on a new bath or shower with no interest and no payments till 2026. Senior and military discounts, plus call during this program and receive a free $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate from Mad City Baths.
They're very concerned about the job that they do and very professional and like I said before, very friendly, so I appreciated that too.
Mad City has more than 50,000 satisfied customers and an A+ rating with the BBB. Our custom baths and showers are infused with Microban for easy cleaning. Plus, with our price lock guarantee, receive a free design consultation and we'll lock your price in for 1 year. So pick up the phone, schedule your bath or shower installation, and ask about Mad City's double lifetime labor warranty. And now we're looking for 50 homeowners who need a new bath or shower. 50 homeowners who call now will receive special savings with free installation. No interest and no payments till 2026. Senior and military discounts, plus call during this program for a free $50 Walmart gift card with your estimate. Now be sure to have your zip code and location ready to qualify here at Mad City. From Wausau, north central Wisconsin, call 715-941-4238. That's 715-941-4238.
Thank you for tuning in. I am meteorologist Conrad Sapinski. Let's get right into this exciting weather. We saw some 60s out there today, but cooler weather and rain is on the way. Take a look at this. All that Gulf moisture is starting to work its way all the way up north, and that will be in our area very, very soon. Some vicious storms down south. We're talking even some tornadoes in Louisiana. One of the worst damages they've seen since Hurricane Katrina almost 20 years ago. So things are definitely not looking good down south with lots of rain and some severe thunderstorms, even some pop-up tornadoes. For us, though, folks, no severe weather, no worries on our end. But we are looking at some sprinkles and even some rain showers throughout the day tomorrow, mainly into those afternoon hours. The eastern parts of the state, we're talking right by Green Bay, Milwaukee, closer to Madison, you're going to get the most rain, but we will all get into at least some scattered showers throughout the day tomorrow. And then overnight, as temperatures cool off, maybe a few flurries will be mixed in that as well. We're not looking at any accumulations for us. We're going to be well above freezing. The ground's going to be wet. And I mean, it's almost middle of April, right? And it is spring. It should continue to warm up. Now, rainfall-wise, though, we're looking at a lot of rain on the way. All over the state, showing up as blue and purple colors, indicating probably over an inch of rain in some spots. So, folks, get ready. Much needed rain is on the way the next 7 days. We're in a drought. We need any type of rain, right? Even a few sprinkles, we'll take it here in the Northwoods. We are more of a moderate drought here in town. A couple of spots up north, more of a severe drought. Ashland, Iron counties, and then up into the UP. Same story down into southern Wisconsin. Now, the winds are pretty calm, all rarely calm. They were more on the breezy end earlier today, but now things are definitely much more stable. Not for long, though. By Friday into Saturday, we're looking at very gusty winds with wind gusts near 30 to 40 miles per hour at times. Now, let's talk temperatures, right? We saw some 60s earlier today. I was driving around, my windows rolled down, just enjoying the nice breeze, the warm breeze at that. 51 degrees, that's what we have right now. But just north, though, 25 minutes north, Eagle River is at 42 degrees. Lando Lakes north of that, 41 degrees. So definitely some cooler air in the region, but still lots of mild temperatures in the area as well. Shawano still hovering at 60 degrees. For tonight, though, temperatures will be in those lower 40s, around 40 degrees. That's what I'm thinking. Increasing clouds in general, and then a few sprinkles possible late overnight. Tomorrow, cloudy skies and then scattered rain showers in the area, mainly into those afternoon hours. Temperature-wise, mid-50s. Our 7-day outlook brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress does show windy conditions on Friday, much better temperature-wise on Saturday. Jessica?
Thank you, Conrad. Inflation is stubbornly hanging on, making it less likely the Feds will lower interest rates and sending the stock market plunging. The culprits, gas, rent, and car insurance. But despite prices staying high, the economy is strong, with more people getting jobs month after month. NBC's Alice Barr has the details from Washington.
An unnerving number today shows inflation ticked up again in March, adding to the strain on Americans' wallets and the political pressure on President Biden.
We're better situated than we were when we took office, where inflation was skyrocketing, and we have a plan to deal with it.
Consumer prices rose 3.5% year over year, up from 3.2% the month before, with rent, gas, and auto insurance especially hard hit. Though grocery price increases slowed, overall, Americans have seen average prices increase more than 20% since the start of the pandemic. Former President Trump seizing on the new report.
Biden has totally lost control of inflation. It's back.
In a statement, President Biden saying inflation has dropped more than 60% from its peak and that reining it in further remains his top economic priority, noting the strong jobs market and rising wages that fuel price increases. Adding to the challenges, the stock market tumbled on the news, with investors concerned about interest rates.
The Fed cannot move to lower interest rates when prices are still showing signs that they could be trending higher.
Hopes are fading for rate cuts that could bring substantial relief in the housing market, as inflation appears stuck at an elevated level, with painful effects for consumers and the politicians searching for solutions. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Thank you, Alice. It's the second most common cancer in U.S. women. About 240,000 cases of breast cancer in women were diagnosed in 2020. The CDC says regular mammograms are the best way to find the disease early, but a new study reveals women are facing numerous barriers in getting this potentially life-saving screening. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force recommends mammograms every 2 years for women ages 50 to 74. But researchers say only about 66% of women in that age group get a mammogram if they have 3 or more health-related social needs. Those can include food insecurity, feeling socially isolated, lack of reliable transportation, lost employment, or a reduction in hours. The cost of accessing health care was the biggest barrier.
Institutions need to be aware that they have to ask about these social determinants of health. And if you ask, then you can have a plan in place to address the needs.
People with low incomes who do not have insurance can access free or low-cost breast and cervical cancer screening services through the CDC's National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program. It was signing day at 3 Lakes High School. Coming up, we'll have a look at 3 local athletes who signed their national letters of intent.
would like to tell you about the man I love, Eric, who is running for the U.S. Senate. A fourth-generation Wisconsinite, he graduated from East High and then became a proud Badger. When we met, I knew right away he was a take-action guy, a natural leader. He started his first business in his 20s and then built and turned around over a dozen companies, creating thousands of good-paying jobs. As busy as he was, our family always came first. Eric has a huge heart. In his 30s, he started the Hovde Foundation, which focuses on homelessness and rescues children from abuse, sex trafficking, and slavery. He loves our country and Wisconsin. He believes in the American dream, and he wants it to be possible for everyone. Above all, Eric is a man of integrity. He is principled, honest, and straightforward. These are the qualities I want in a U.S. Senator to fight for Wisconsin. How about you?
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. When you're ready to get out and prep your yard for spring, we get you the right products at the right prices. Right now, Rewards members get a free $15 gift card with a $100 purchase of Scott's products. Like Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, $64.99 after sale and mail-in rebate. Or Scott's Turf Builder with Halt's Crabgrass Preventer, $69.99 after sale and rebate. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Beautiful home east of Eagle River with 5.5 acres to be sold at auction April 27th. Contact Brass and St. Louis Auctions for more details.
Take it away, boys.
And coming up on News Watch 12 today, we'll be joined by Trees for Tomorrow.
Sounds very exciting, right? And nice weather. Finally feeling like spring. How warm will we get? More when you tune in on your Thursday from 5 to 7.
It was signing day at Three Lakes High School as a trio of athletes made their college decisions official as they put pen to paper on their national letters of intent. Toby Volkman, LJ Terlizzi, and Tyler Janikowski will all be staying in state to compete at the NCAA level. It was signing day at Three Lakes as three athletes made their next steps official. Three Lakes Athletic Director Phil Updike spoke about the three athletes as they all made their signings, starting with Toby Volkman, who will be heading to UW Eau Claire to play soccer. Volkman talked about the recruiting process and why Eau Claire was the place for him.
Coach was really invested in me. He came to watch me play, even before I knew about anything about the program, about him. Sent me a personal text, and it was just really welcoming there. And I just feel like it's a great program to be in, just welcoming, and it's great.
Joining Volkman in Eau Claire is LJ Terlizzi, who will be stepping onto the football field. Terlizzi helped lead Three Lakes to the state quarterfinals this past season and believes the transition from 8-man to 11-man football will help unlock his fullest potential on the field.
Their potential is not at the max. That's what they feel, is that there's so much room to grow from going from 8-man to 11-man, and even just coming from a small town, small community, going from in Eau Claire, which is a lot bigger. There's a lot more opportunity there and room to grow.
Rounding out the signees is UW Oshkosh football commit Tyler Janikowski. Janikowski, who was a three-sport athlete, was spoken highly of by Updike and head football coach Tyler Maney. Janikowski credits the school and his coaches for help preparing him for the next step of his athletic career.
This school means a lot to me. They've helped me grow to the person who I am today, whether that's athletically or just as a person. They've helped me grow as a leader, as a contributor towards all of our sports teams, and they've just helped me grow to who I am today.
It was a special day for the signees and their families as the three Blue Jays made their college choices official. A big day for the Blue Jay athletic department as they send three athletes to compete at the collegiate level. One of the best players to ever put on a Marquette basketball jersey announced today that his time as a Golden Eagle is coming to an end. The 2023 Big East Player of the Year and two-time All-American guard Tyler Kolek announced that he will be declaring for the 2024 NBA Draft. Kolek led Marquette to the Sweet 16 this season. He averaged 15 points and an NCAA leading 7.9 assists per game in his final year at Marquette. The Milwaukee Bucks are in action without Giannis Antetokounmpo in their final home game of the regular season, taking on the Orlando Magic. It turned out to be no Giannis, no problem in Milwaukee as the Bucks were able to take down the Magic 117-99. The Bucks will be back in action on Friday when they travel to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder. The Milwaukee Brewers were in action as well, taking on the Cincinnati Reds on the road in the third game of a four-game set at the Great American Ballpark. They split the first two games, and it was the Brewers who came out on top to take a series lead, defeating the Reds 7-2 in Cincinnati. Final game of the series will be Thursday around noon. We'll be right back after the break.
Join us this weekend in Tomahawk for the 39th annual WJJQ Home Show with Health Expo, Saturday from 9 till 4, Sunday 10 till 3 at the Tomahawk School Complex. Admission is free and sponsored by area businesses and Northwoods 92.5 WJJQ.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Easily take on your outdoor cleaning projects with Master Force pressure washers. They have the power you need to make short work of any job. Pick up this 3,000 PSI pressure washer for $329.29 after rebate. The Master Force 80-volt self-propelled lawnmower is powerful, efficient, and hassle-free. So you can spend less time working on your lawn and more time enjoying the results. Get one for $499.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum. Spectrum Internet offers speed and reliability, while advanced Wi-Fi gives you best-in-class security for all your connected devices. And Spectrum Mobile delivers unlimited talk, text, and data with nationwide 5G included. Switch now and get Spectrum Internet for $49.99, plus advanced Wi-Fi and one Spectrum Mobile Unlimited line free for 12 months. Start saving today. Visit Spectrum.com, a Spectrum store, or scan to call now.
For the second year in a row, Chevy Equinox has been ranked by J.D. Power #1 in new vehicle quality for compact SUVs. In other words, it's really good, right from the start. Chevy Equinox.
Do that again.
Connected by OnStar. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Equinox models. Or get $1,500 cash allowance. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $1,000 cash allowance.
Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Saturday, April 27th, the Wisconsin Department of Justice will be holding a free prescription drug take-back event. If you have any unused or unwanted medications, ointments, patches, non-aerosol sprays, inhalers, vials, or pet medication, clean out your medicine cabinets. Don't let your old medication fall into the wrong hands by disposing of unused or unwanted medications properly. For more information on locations and accepted items, go to doseofrealitywi.gov. This information is brought to you by the Human Service Center of Forest, Vilas, and Oneida County.
Join us this weekend in Tomahawk for the 39th annual WJJQ Home Show with Health Expo, Saturday from 9 till 4, Sunday 10 till 3 at the Tomahawk School Complex. Admission is free and sponsored by area businesses and Northwoods 92.5 WJJQ.
The Forest County Humane Society is beyond capacity and in desperate need of help from donations to volunteers. The shelter's desire to help as many animals as possible has left workers at the shelter struggling to accommodate all the animals.
We are bursting at the seams. We have over 40 dogs. We have a waiting list for other dogs and puppies to come in. Basically, as we adopt one out, I try to help the next person. We're just incredibly full.
The shelter is also housing 30 cats and an additional 3 litters of bottle-fed puppies. Ross says she understands the hardship people are facing today, so even having some time to spare would mean a lot as the shelter currently has no volunteers.
Any type of volunteers is greatly appreciated, more than I could ever express. And, any type of donations, towels, blankets, anything anybody can do is just a huge blessing.
If you're interested in donating, you can do it in person or online. We'll be right back.
We've all seen what's happening at our border. President Biden and Senator Baldwin's open border policy has brought more than 10 million illegal immigrants into our country. That's double the population of Wisconsin. our country was already struggling to provide housing and health care to our citizens. And tragically, we're losing over 100,000 Americans a year to the drugs that pour over our open border. Their policy is wrong. I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message, and I'll work to fix this problem.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet this year, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Sure is nice to have my 3 older kids home to visit. Oh yeah, I love coming home. I miss having soft water.
That's why I bring my laundry home on the weekend.
It's so much better for my hair too, but you wouldn't know anything about that, Corey.
Well, that's why my hair looks so nice and moisturized.
What do you know about moisturized hair?
Well, having 2 older sisters and a brother who only showers a couple times a week helps.
Well, actually, 72 years of treating water in Wisconsin is our family story. You kids are pretty well versed in water.
So let us make your family's water better today.
Sue right, take middle, me on the left.
Yeah, I knew I'd win.
Are you saying
What's
something?
really happening over there?
I think you're on mute.
There's no substitute for real gaming fun. Go where fun lives. Old Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
Welcome to Leisure City, where relieving stress and bringing more fun into your life is what we're all about. You'll notice new faces around, but we're still delivering the same great service we have since 1985. Come see our full lineup of hot tubs in a variety of sizes and styles. We're sure to have that perfect fit for you and your family. Check out our full line of indoor-outdoor patio furniture. That's Leisure City, your backyard headquarters of the North.
Martinis in May is returning. Make a toast Saturday, May 11th at the Whitetail Inn. Live music with Tony Ocean. Tickets available online or at the Chamber office.
The goat that captured Kansas City's attention after getting stuck on a bridge ledge is now safe at home with his owners. Look at him up there. Just 2 days ago, the goat dubbed Jeffrey was rescued as he hopped along the bridge supports high above the ground. He was taken to the Kansas City Pet Project where he'd recently been adopted, but then escaped from his new home and somehow managed to land on the bridge. His original owners saw the news about his harrowing ordeal and knew right off that it was their goat named Chug. They suspected that Chug had been stolen from their farm back in February. Now he's reunited with his original family.
That's incredible. Yeah, I'm just wondering how he got there. They said he kind of hopped over,
well,
right?
They jump. Goats jump.
That's
so,
kind of wild, though, because there's, like, not a lot of places to jump, I guess. I don't know.
You can't make that up. You can't make that story up.
Look at him going out there.
Very interesting, but I don't know if you guys realize the weather. It looked pretty good out there, right? No rain, no snow. I mean, let's go. The goat was hanging out. He was probably getting a nice breeze, kind of like I was getting earlier today in my car. But tomorrow, we are getting a little bit more rain. Get ready. Don't put away those umbrellas just yet. A little bit of rain for tomorrow. Windy on Friday, feeling cool. By the weekend, whew, get ready. It's going to be back in the 60s and even some 70s.
Wow. Something to look forward to.
I'm excited.
Thank you, Conrad. Yeah, it's beautiful. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Upgrade your garage, patio, or basement this spring with our beautiful cutting-edge concrete coatings. Our coatings are 4 times stronger than epoxy and guaranteed to increase your home's value. For a limited time, save up to $500 off your project. Plus, call during this program to see if you qualify for payments starting at just $30 a month.
Attention homeowners, Mad City Baths is looking for 50 homeowners who need a new bath or shower. We want to evaluate our custom bathing solutions in real homes for safety and convenience. Mad City is Wisconsin's trusted bathroom remodeler with installations in as little as 1 day. We're also your local provider for replacement windows and kitchen cabinet refacing. And now be one of 50 homeowners who call and receive free installation on a new bath or shower with no interest and no payments till 2026. Senior and military discounts. Plus, call during this program and receive a free $50 Walmart gift card with your in-home estimate from Mad City Baths.
They're very concerned about the job that they do, and very professional, and like I said before, very friendly. So I appreciated that too.
Mad City has more than 50,000 satisfied customers and an A+ rating with the BBB. Our custom baths and showers are infused with Microban for easy cleaning. Plus, with our price lock guarantee, receive a free design consultation, and we'll lock your price in for 1 year. So pick up the phone, schedule your bath or shower installation, and ask about Mad City's double lifetime labor warranty. And now we're looking for 50 homeowners who need a new bath or shower. 50 homeowners who call now will receive special savings with free installation. No interest and no payments till 2026. Senior and military discounts, plus call during this program for a free $50 Walmart gift card.